There is a mason jar sitting on my kitchen counter right now, and there is about an inch of milk in the bottom of it that went sour 2 days ago. A year ago, I would have poured that down the drain without a second thought. This morning, it is going out to my balcony instead, into the soil around a pepper plant that I was ready to give up on 3 weeks back. Brown leaves, bare stems, the kind of plant you carry to the trash can feeling a little guilty about it. That pepper plant has 9 new leaves on it now. 9. I counted them this morning with my coffee, standing out there in my slippers like a crazy person. Now I am not going to tell you that milk raises the dead, because it does not. What I will tell you is that most of the plants you and I have thrown away were never actually dead. And there is a 2-minute test that proves it. And there is a $2 liquid in your refrigerator that gets them moving again. Stay with me to the end, because whether this works or turns into a smelly mess in your pot comes down to one thing, and that is what time of day you pour it. There is something the morning sun does to milk that nobody ever mentions, and once you hear it, you will not do this at night again. I'm Jake, and most folks know me as Backyard Buddy. 3 years ago, I was the fellow who killed houseplants, and I mean that literally. I once killed a cactus. Then, a handful of green onion ends I tossed at the trash can missed, landed in a glass of water, and sprouted 3 days later. And since then, I have regrown hundreds of plants from kitchen scraps on my windowsills and my balcony, with my grocery bill down by nearly a third. My neighbor Gloria, 2 floors up, has been growing on her balcony for 20 years, and she taught me half of what I know. Here's what happens in most kitchens. A plant starts looking rough. The leaves go pale, then yellow, then brown and crispy around the edges. You water it more, because that is what we all do, and it gets worse. So you set the pot out on the step and leave it there for a couple of weeks, feeling a little bad every time you walk past. Then, one Saturday, you tip it in the trash and go buy a new one at the garden center for $11. I did that to a rosemary plant that cost me $14. And that rosemary was still alive when I dropped it in the trash can. I know that now because of a test I am going to show you in about 2 minutes. That poor plant was starving in a plastic pot full of soil that had nothing left in it, and the bottle of blue fertilizer I kept dumping on it was not fixing the real problem. A potted plant does not eat soil. It eats what the living things in the soil hand to it. Feed those, and the plant feeds itself. And I will keep coming back to the timing on this, because pouring it at the wrong hour is the whole difference between a plant that turns around and a pot that smells like a barn. Now, this little trick with the milk is one of the things I put in a book. It is called the 30-Day Kitchen Scrap Garden Protocol. And I wrote it for people who have exactly what I had when I started, which is no yard, no experience, and no money to speak of. 31 crops you can regrow from the scraps your kitchen already throws away, each one with its own plain instructions. A $10 starter kit made mostly of things you already own. A day-by-day plan, 30 days, from your first glass of water to your first harvest. It runs 172 pages. It is $17, marked down from $47. And that is one time against a grocery bill that goes down every single week after. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you use to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time. There is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. All right, let's get you out to that plant, because the first thing you do has nothing to do with milk at all. Before you feed anything, you need to know if there is anybody home. This is the test that would have saved my rosemary, and it costs nothing. Take the plant somewhere with good light. The kitchen window is fine. Find the main stem down low near the soil. Now take your thumbnail and scratch a little strip of the outer skin off that stem, about the size of a grain of rice. You are not cutting into it. You are just scraping the surface, the way you would scrape a bit of wax off a candle. Look at what is underneath. If you see green, even a dull, pale, tired green, that plant is alive. If you see brown and it is dry as a cracker, scratch again about an inch lower, closer to the soil. Plants die from the top down. The tip can be long gone, and the base can still be perfectly fine. Then, do one more thing. Slide the plant out of its pot and look at the roots. Live roots are white or cream-colored, and they feel firm between your fingers. Dead roots are dark brown, and they squish, and they smell sour. If even a third of that root ball is white and firm, you have got a plant worth saving. I have brought back peppers, basil, a mint plant that was nothing but sticks, and one Christmas cactus that sat bare on a shelf for 4 months. Take your time with this. There is no rush at all. Now, the milk, and I want to be straight with you about what it does and what it does not do, because I am not going to sell you a miracle. Milk will not replace decent potting soil, and it is not a complete plant food. What milk brings is 3 things. It brings calcium, which plants use to build cell walls, the same way it builds your bones. It brings a little nitrogen and phosphorus. And here's the part that actually matters. It brings protein, sugar, and fat, which is a hot meal for the fungi and bacteria living in your soil. Those little things are the ones doing the real work in a pot. They break down what is in there, and they hand it to the roots in a form the plant can use. Gloria explained it to me one afternoon on her balcony better than any book has. She said every plant has a cook, and the cook lives in the dirt, and the cook is who you are actually feeding. When a pot has been sitting on a hot balcony all summer, watered with tap water over and over, that soil life thins way out. The plant looks starved because it is starved, even though the dirt is technically still sitting right there. Pour a diluted milk mix in, and within a week or 2, that pot smells like soil again. That earthy smell is the sign. That is life coming back, and that is why a plant that looks finished can turn around so fast. It was never gone. Its kitchen just closed. Here is the recipe, and it is about as complicated as making a cup of tea. You need 1 cup of milk. That is 1 cup, not 1 jug. And you need 3 cups of plain water. Pour the milk into a quart jar first, then fill the rest of the jar with water, put the lid on, and shake it for a few seconds. That is it. 1 part milk to 3 parts water every time. Now, which milk? Any milk works. Skim and low fat work best because there is less fat to go rancid on you. Whole milk is fine, buttermilk is fine, and the milk that has gone a little sour in the back of your refrigerator is my favorite one of all, because the souring has already started breaking it down for you. Please do not go buy milk for this. A half gallon runs about $2, and if you have got some sitting there, wonderful. But the real version of this is free. When your jug is empty, put half a cup of water in it, screw the cap back on, and give it a shake. All that milk clinging to the sides of the jug comes right off, and your mix is already made. I have not poured a milk jug down the drain in 3 years. That is not garbage. That is groceries, just in a different shape. Let's put it in the pot now, and this is where folks get in trouble. So 1 step at a time. First, water the plant with plain water and let it drink. Dry soil pulls anything you pour into it straight down past the roots and out the bottom. Damp soil holds it right where the roots are. So plain water first, wait about 10 minutes, then the milk mix. Second, pour it at the base of the plant right onto the soil in a slow circle around the stem. Slow. You want it soaking in, not running out the drainage hole. Third, how much? For a pot about the size of a coffee can, use 1 cup of the mix. For a 5-gallon bucket, use about a quart. And if you have got potato plants or tomatoes in a garden row, about a quart per plant. Pour right at the base where the roots are. Fourth, and this is the one to write down, once every 2 weeks. Not every day, not every watering. Once every 2 weeks, and only while the plant is getting back on its feet. Any more than that, and you are just feeding mold. One last thing. If your pot sits in a saucer indoors, tip that saucer out after 20 minutes. Milk sitting in a saucer for 2 days will smell, and then you will blame me. Take your time with all 4 of those. There is nothing here you can rush, and nothing here you can really ruin. There is a second way to use this, and it is the one that surprised me most. If your squash leaves, or your cucumbers, or your zinnias have gone dusty white on top like somebody shook flour over them, that is powdery mildew. It is a fungus, and it is the reason a lot of good plants quit on us in August. Mix the same thing, 1 cup of milk to 3 cups of water, into a clean spray bottle. Go out in the morning, spray the tops of the leaves, then get underneath them too, because underneath is where it hides. Do it once a week while the weather stays damp. Gardeners have been doing this for a very long time, and there's a specific reason it works that has almost nothing to do with the milk itself. I am coming back to that, and it is worth the wait. 2 things to remember in the meantime. Use the diluted mix, never straight milk, because straight milk on a leaf dries into a film, and that film blocks the light the leaf needs. And rinse your spray bottle out with hot water when you are done, or the next time you pick it up, it will introduce itself. 4 quick ways people ruin this, and then I will give you the timing. 1. Straight milk, poured on undiluted. That is the #1 mistake by a mile. Undiluted milk goes rancid in warm soil, it draws flies, and your balcony will smell like a dairy barn in July. 1 part milk to 3 parts water. 1 to 3. 2. Doing it every day because the plant perked up a little. More is not better here. Every 2 weeks. 3. Using it on a plant that is drowning instead of starving. If the soil is soggy, the leaves are yellow and limp, and the pot has no drainage hole in the bottom, that plant needs a hole drilled in it, not a meal. 4. Doing it indoors in a closed room in the middle of summer. Carry the pot to the balcony, the porch, the front step, or the bathtub, if that is what you have got. Give it a few hours of moving air. That is the whole list of ways to get this wrong, and every one of them is easy to sidestep. All right, the timing. This is what I promised you at the start, and it is the part almost nobody explains. Do this in the morning, early, right after the sun comes up, before the day gets hot. Not at noon, and not in the evening. Here is why, and there are 2 reasons, 1 for the soil and 1 for the leaves. Start with the soil. The fungi and bacteria you are feeding wake up with the warmth. Pour that mix in around 7 in the morning, and by the time the sun has been on the pot a few hours, they are working through it, and it is gone inside a day. Pour it in at 9 at night, and it sits in cold, dark soil for 10 or 11 hours with nothing eating it, and what grows in it instead is the wrong crowd entirely. That is where the smell comes from. That is where the flies come from. Same jar, same pot, same plant. Different hour, completely different result. Now the leaves, and this is the one that made me put my cup down when Gloria told me. When milk sits on a leaf and the morning sun hits it, the sunlight and the proteins in that milk react with each other, and that reaction is hard on the fungus sitting on the leaf surface. The sun is doing the work. The milk is just what you handed the sun. Spray it in the evening, and there is no sunlight coming for another 10 hours, so all you have done is leave a damp, sweet film on a leaf overnight, which is just about the perfect conditions for the very fungus you were trying to get rid of. So the same jar, poured at 7 in the morning, feeds your soil and cleans your leaves. Poured at 9 at night, it feeds mold and grows flies. Morning, every time. That is the whole secret, and it does not cost 1 penny. And that is the whole idea, 1 scrap at a time. The book walks you through 31 of them, day by day, starting with things sitting in your kitchen tonight. The 30-day kitchen scrap garden protocol, $17, marked down from $47, one time. My grocery bill has dropped by nearly a third, and it has stayed there. $17 against that, every week, forever. If I can do this, I promise you can. Now go ahead and grab your phone and open up your camera, the same one you used to take pictures. Point it at that square code on your screen and hold it steady for a second. A little link will pop up, give it a tap, and it will take you straight to the book. And if you are watching on your phone right now, the link is waiting for you right down below in the description. Take your time, there is no rush at all. I'll wait right here. So there it is. Scratch the stem to see if it is alive. 1 cup of milk to 3 cups of water, poured slowly at the base, once every 2 weeks, in the morning. Now go do that thumbnail scratch on the saddest plant you own, the one you have already half given up on, and come back and tell me in the comments whether you found green under there. I read every single one. Next time I'm going to show you that wrinkled piece of ginger in the bottom of your vegetable drawer, the one with the little green nub starting to push out of it, and how that one dried up knob turns into a plant on a windowsill you never have to buy again. Don't throw it away, grow it. I'll see you next time, buddy.